Hoge Jahns.
Oh, you're too kind, Ernie.
Ernie.
Love you, man. Welcome in, Hoge Jahns. Still with you.
Congrats, man. Congrats to you. Congrats to Russell Wilson. Congrats to Aaron Rodgers. Big things happening in the NFL.
Yeah. I am definitely third on that list. Or last on that list.
I listed you first.
You did. I appreciate that.
Happy for you, man.
No, I thank you very much. Appreciate all the kind words. Appreciated them yesterday, too. And thank you to all of our listeners, longtime listeners that have been so kind in reaching out. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks in the Hoge household. But you heard it in the open. I now work for CHGO. And it's been a fun couple days to get started. I'm excited about the whole thing.
You have to, you need a wardrobe now.
I know.
You know that, right? I was thinking about that.
I've already ordered, but also I've had suits in my closet for a long time. Those suits aren't going to be worn. So, yeah, I've already picked up, I think, 3 different sweatshirts.
I'm glad you brought this up because there's this I've never worn a suit. I've worn suits to certain events.
Yeah.
But sports writers don't really wear suits. Except the Canadian ones do. They did, but unless you're on TV. But just let's be honest, right? How many of us actually wear suits in our daily lives covering that team?
I wear suits to, at least in the past, I've worn suits to the primetime night, the big games, like Monday Night Football. But other than that,
that's true.
Only when I go on TV.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So but hey, this is an argument I totally agree with you on. I don't know why suits need to be worn on TV, especially in sports.
But you've seen that change a little bit. Pat McAfee has one of the most popular podcasts in the football world. He doesn't even wear sleeves.
No,
I don't know if you can pull that off.
That's his deal. I'm not going out there with sleeveless.
No. We got to find out if it'll work. I mean, I know it's his thing, but give it a shot.
No, I think Olin Kreutz already handled this on Twitter. I don't have the muscle definition to be wearing, going shirtless.
And you got the Peloton. There's arm workouts in that.
Yeah, not enough to fix this though.
You got time.
Yeah,
but I'm happy for you, brother.
No, thank you very much. It's for those that haven't heard or don't know much about it, and that's fine because this thing just launched. CHGO is the new venture, the new thing I am a part of, and very excited to be a part of it. We're going to have a ton of Bears coverage for you, too. So, but here's the rule right away to our very loyal Hoge Jahns listeners. We encourage you to check us out at CHGO, but you're not allowed to leave us. In fact,
we're still here.
I broke into the internet, and
you did what?
I broke into the internet, and anybody who has has subscribed to this podcast over the years cannot hit unsubscribe.
Oh,
it doesn't work. I disabled the unsubscribe button.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. So no, and there's no reason to. We're not going anywhere. We're still going to be here doing our show, and I promise you, it will not take any type of hit whatsoever. But you can also hear me now 5 days a week on the CHGO Bears podcast as well. And the cool thing about that is we go live every day at 11 a.m. So got a good crew. Olin Kreutz is a part of it a couple times a week. Nick Moriano, Will DeWitt, who really have done a great job building up the Chicago Audible over the years. Another Bears podcast that I know a lot of our listeners listen to as well. So I think there'll be a lot of crossover. I think there'll be some good crossover. And but we're not going anywhere. And really nothing's going to change much with this podcast right now, which is cool. So thank you for everyone for still being here. Thank you for all the kind words. And we got some news to talk about because it was a crazy day in the NFL. Not for the Bears, just for teams that they've played.
Well, it affects the Bears.
Yeah, it sure does. I want to start because Aaron Rodgers going back to Green Bay, we'll get to it. It doesn't surprise me at all. The big stunner was Russell Wilson getting traded to Denver.
My first thought on that is if you were in like disbelief with that being a potential reality for the Bears last year, then shame on you.
Yeah.
Because it was there and it obviously fell through. Look, the Bears were on the Justin Fields, but that was a reality that the Bears were operating in. It did not come to fruition with Russell Wilson coming to Chicago. Now he's off to Denver, but those talks were real. Everybody, those talks were very real last year.
Yeah, and, I hope we did a good enough job of relaying that to you and convincing you on that because it was real. In fact, there was a deal essentially in place, and it was Pete Carroll who wasn't ready to trade Russell. Now, apparently, he's ready to trade Russell today because Russell Wilson has the trade has happened. He's off to Denver. And I don't think it's a coincidence that this all went down today. This was sort of a soft deadline that Aaron Rodgers had to make a decision on because of the Devontae Adams franchise tag situation. That deadline has just come and gone right as we sat down to record this today. So, Aaron Rodgers realistically had to make up his mind. I think a lot of people are sort of jumping to the conclusion that, Aaron decided to stay in Green Bay. The Seahawks made this trade for Russell Wilson then. I think they're probably working on both sort of at the same time. I wouldn't be surprised, Jahns, to hear it actually went down the opposite order, though. That the Broncos decided to go with Russell Wilson.
They were moving on, is what you're saying. They were moving,
I wouldn't. I don't know for a fact at this point.
Okay,
I wouldn't be surprised to hear that the Broncos chose to roll with Russell Wilson, perhaps giving up a little less draft capital than Aaron Rodgers would have cost, and he's only 32, so you're getting a younger quarterback option too. And then at that point, maybe Rodgers goes, okay, well, I'm going to go back to Green Bay, or maybe they just couldn't wait on Rodgers anymore and they had to make a move. But it is interesting timing.
Maybe two dominoes fell at the same time.
Yeah,
I felt like last year the quarterback dominoes were a huge topic of conversation. Matthew Stafford, a year before that was Tom Brady. Like the veteran quarterback market, at least the past couple years, has been quite insane. I think that's putting it correctly too, right? Like it's been insane just in terms of what they've brought to teams, the packages used to acquire them. And look at Matthew Stafford and just how Tom Brady changed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, made them Super Bowl champions. It's not easy to draft a quarterback and develop them. I think we're learning that right now. That type of path is layered with landmines and whatnot. So here we are again, another quarterback, potential Hall of Famer on the move.
I want to tell a quick story because the cool thing about our CHGO launch is that all these awesome people from Denver, because this whole company was started in Denver, and they've done a very successful job with DNVR, which is what it's called in Denver. They're all here in Chicago helping us launch right now. And I was literally talking to Ryan Koenigsberg, who, one of the co-founders of the company in Denver, as this trade broke, like as it came across. And it felt like when the Bears traded for Cutler. Like just the reaction of all the Denver folks that were there.
Involved, yeah. Same team involved.
Just like the elation and like they finally got their guy. And it's funny because he immediately ran into our secondary studio and started recording, their Denver Broncos podcast. And he lit up a cigar and just celebrated. It's awesome. So there's a video of it actually on my Instagram if you want to check it out at Adam Hoge. But it was just actually kind of cool to witness this because here's a fan base in the Denver Broncos. Now, I don't want to necessarily say they've been starving for a good quarterback because they did get Peyton Manning there and won a Super Bowl.
I believe he set all sorts of records too the year before the Super Bowl. Before his injuries caught up to him.
Now, but that being said, like John Elway retired in 98. And you take out those Peyton Manning years, Like, that was 24 years ago.
Jake the Snake Plumber doesn't do it for you?
No. Brock Osweiler?
Oh, beat the Bears. Notable Bear killer.
Multiple times.
Brock,
didn't he beat him 3 times?
Yes. Nightmare machine for Vic Fangio.
Right. So it's good for them. They get Russell. What a division that is now. Those quarterbacks, I mean, that's a tough division. Okay, so I think it's just interesting to see how this all played out because obviously the Bears tried really hard to get Russell Wilson last year, and it didn't happen. Then things fell their way in the draft, and they got Justin Fields. If they hadn't drafted Justin Fields, they could have been the team still trading for Russell Wilson today, for all we know.
I mean, I don't think Ryan Poles the GM making that move, but
yeah,
I feel like the Denver Broncos provide more that would interest Russell Wilson. If that's part of it, even if he had a say in it, I imagine he did, knowing the importance of the position and who he is as a player. I imagine he had input where he wanted to go. But I do vividly remember the day the tweet was shared by Adam Schefter that the Bears were on Russell Wilson's shortlist. So obviously the Bears had something that interested in him as well.
Something about Chicago interested him.
Something did.
Yeah. And there's a lot to like about Chicago. But I remember, I mean, we did all these shows last year. So it was real. It's why we gave it as much attention in the end. He did get traded. And how about the balance of power when it comes to quarterbacks in this league right now?
Yeah.
I mean, the NFC, it's Aaron Rodgers and then a pretty big gap. And we're talking at that point
give your guy Matthew Stafford some credit for just winning the Super Bowl.
Well, someone had to make the Super Bowl from the NFC. And it wasn't Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. It's another topic of conversation for later in this podcast.
Who's the second best quarterback in the NFC right now? Dak Prescott?
No, Matthew Stafford.
Stafford?
Yes.
Just because I guess I'm still struggling to go. I mean, congrats on winning the Super Bowl. He's always been a good quarterback. I'm not sure if I'm ready to say he's better than Dak Prescott, though.
No, he's better than Dak Prescott.
Okay.
Who else? Think about it, though.
Kyler Murray? Hasn't been a great offseason for him so far.
Gotta sign him, yeah.
Yeah. And then Kirk Cousins, your guy?
My guy.
I mean,
seriously, think about it.
It's crazy.
Then the list in the AFC, especially with Wilson joining. I'm not buying the conversation that Wilson's career is in some type of tailspin. Don't buy that. This was the first year. Let's see. The first year that he's had a losing season, his entire career. First year the Seahawks have had a losing season. And only the second time that the Seahawks have failed to make the playoffs. Now, I know they had a great defense, had Marshawn Lynch there for a bit, but I mean, he became the face of that team.
Yeah.
He really did. You can't keep everybody defensively, and once you have a quarterback, you have to hang on to him. But for, 9 years, 10 years, he was the face of that team. One losing season. One.
It's a heck of a run. He's a really good quarterback. There's no question about it. Would you have traded for Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers?
If I'm the Broncos?
If you were the Broncos, which one?
I imagine the Packers were asking for a bit more. So
let me, and I don't know this obviously. Let's say hypothetically, instead of 2 1s and 2 2s, it was 3 1s and a 2. So that other 2 became a 1.
I would actually trade for the younger quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the only thing about specifically the Broncos is the idea that he would be coming to Denver with Nathaniel Hackett, right? Rodgers, that is. You're getting that pairing. It's...
But obviously the Broncos didn't think highly enough of that pairing to push all their chips in.
Well, we just don't know. I mean, we don't know what the 2 deals look like, right? I mean, we don't know.
But if you think that pairing is going to bring you a Super Bowl championship, then what the heck is the difference in another first-round pick?
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. And by the way, I agree with you. Like, I think I probably would have gone Russell. He's 32. He's younger. He's significantly younger. You just mentioned all that consistency. The Seahawks have been kind of falling apart around him. The Denver Broncos are in pretty good shape, especially defensively. Poor Vic Fangio, man. He must be out there today like, come on, dude. If I had Russell Wilson last year, he still has a job. So with that defense and Russell Wilson, I mean, we're going to find out. This is going to be an ongoing conversation here now for the next few years about Russell Wilson and his career.
I mean, I just had to pull this up, though. The quarterback dip, drop-off, have you in the NFC. This is why Justin Fields, we already know he's so important for the Bears, but if he could take some steps in development.
The door's open, man.
Oh, man. I mean, Rodgers keeps it partially closed within the division, but there's not a lot of elite quarterbacks. There's like none. It's Aaron Rodgers and then a debate about Matthew Stafford. Who else do we got? Yeah, Kyler Murray. Okay, you could maybe a debate about Kyler Murray. Look at these starting quarterbacks. I mean, it's Dak Prescott. You can add him to the debate. It's no Kirk Cousins, Taysom Hill, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, but
he may not be back there. Seriously. Taylor Heineke, our guy Mitch Trubisky, potentially.
Maybe Seattle goes and signs Trubisky now.
You almost have to remind yourself. Like, I'm going through this list. You have to remind yourself of the void, the drop-off there. Like Mike Sando's quarterback tiers piece isn't out yet. But I imagine, the first 10 names on there, other than Aaron Rodgers, are from the AFC.
They could be, man. I mean,
Matt Ryan is still in the NFC, but when's the last time we've had a conversation about him being elite or special, top 10, top 12?
Not since he was MVP. Yeah.
It's a long time ago.
Man, I just can't. The AFC West, man. If you're the Broncos, you had to make a move like this. Because how are you supposed to compete with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert now, who's coming on and more than coming on? He is so talented. And even Derek Carr. I still like Derek Carr.
And Josh McDaniels.
Yeah. I mean, if you're the Broncos, this made too much sense. You had to make a move like this. And I think if you're the Bears, you're just sitting back and like you said, hey, thank God we got Justin Fields but it still better work out. If it does, I mean, there's a scenario you're talking about Justin Fields easily being a top 5 quarterback in the NFC by the end of the season. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm just saying there's that scenario. If he takes the leap that I think a lot of people expect him to make with the competition there in the NFC, he should be right there in that conversation.
Well, we've talked about this at length, just about the division. Who would you want right now at this point in their careers? Kirk Cousins starting over with the new regime, Jared Goff on year 2 in Detroit, or young Justin Fields? Seriously, from a contractual sense, to just a roster building sense,
it's definitely the second best option in the division.
Yes,
if not the best, depending on how much you believe in him compared to what Aaron Rodgers is now. So, I mean, I still think that's a stretch right now after what we saw from Fields as a rookie, which, again, most of us agreed, not really his fault, but, he's still got a lot to prove still. Sorry, go ahead.
I think what we could all agree on is that you got Aaron Rodgers, and then you have some argument about Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, and Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
That's the argument. And then Matt Ryan comes in there at some point. That's your argument about the NFC quarterbacks.
Hey, Hoge Jahns listeners, kick off 2022 with a better checking account with no monthly fees. Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, has no overdraft fees, foreign transaction fees, monthly fees, or service fees with over 60,000 fee-free in-network ATMs at many locations like Walgreens, 7-Eleven, CVS. You can access your money when you need it, where you need it. You can also send money to anyone, even if they aren't on Chime, fee-free for you and no cash out fees for them. Make your first good decision of the new year and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and it doesn't affect your credit score. Get started today at chime.com/Adams. That's chime.com/Adams. Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank NA, members FDIC. Get fee-free transactions at any MoneyPass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Otherwise, out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Sometimes pay anyone. Instant transfers can be delayed. The recipient must be a valid debit card or be a Chime member to claim funds.
Peloton is here to push you further with the Peloton Bike and Peloton Bike Plus. There are new classes with new music and new ways to keep your workouts fresh and motivating. Peloton has workouts for every goal, day, and mood. I'm a big fan of all their classic rock rides, their 90 rock rides, heavy metal rides, Kendall Toole, Jen Sherman, and Emma Lovell, all three of my favorite instructors. I just did a great 30-minute David Bowie ride with Jess King. I've done their Beatles rides, their Queen rides, and I'm telling you, I've loved all of them. I'm going to do them again, too. You can always find great 10, 20, 30, and 45-minute rides with songs from the 80s, 90s, and even today's hits. I've really gotten into these interval rides. I'm telling you, you can work out your arms and shoulders while getting a good bike ride in as well. Peloton just offers you so much. It really does. It's very easy to stay motivated when there's something new every single day, including core and arm and shoulder workouts. There's yoga workouts. There's stretch routines. They have everything. So stay in shape and stay motivated while having fun with bike workouts, yoga, meditation, dance, cardio, and so much more. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. That's ONEPELOTON.com.
It's hard to imagine, but spring is almost here. We had a really nice day on Saturday. It felt like spring, and we are so close to feeling that soft grass under our feet. First, we got to get our lawn back. Thankfully, Sunday gets your lawn growing and helps to keep it healthy all season long. Sunday can help you grow a beautiful lawn without the guesswork or the nasty chemicals. Their custom plans include fertilizer and everything you need to easily care for your lawn. With ingredients like seaweed, iron, and molasses, you can feel good with kids and pets being around. Just attach the ready-to-use pouch to a garden hose and spray. It takes less than 15 minutes. Best of all, this stuff really works. And Sunday is offering our listeners 20% off right now. Full season plans start at just $129. And right now you can get 20% off at checkout when you visit getsunday.com/Adam20. That's 20% off your custom plan at getsunday.com/Adam20.
Basketball is in full swing, and for many of us, there's no better way to enjoy the games by having some skin in the game, which is why BetMGM remains the exclusive betting partner of The Athletic. And as a fan of The Athletic, you can bet $10 to win $150 plus a free 3-month subscription or extension to your subscription with The Athletic when you bet with BetMGM using our promo code. Sign up at BetMGM.com and use the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout to take advantage of the special offer from the King of Sportsbooks. It's bet $10 to win $150 plus 3 months free from The Athletic at BetMGM.com using the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout. New customer offer. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, or West Virginia only. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, Nevada, and Virginia. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan. 1-800-GAMBLER in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia. And 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. In Tennessee, call or text the red line at 800-889-9789. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. Promotional offer not available in Nevada.
You know, and I think... So this is a good way to kind of segue the conversation here to Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. Not a good thing for the Bears, obviously. But when you consider the rest of the bulk of the schedule in the NFC, whether it's this year or just coming years, right? Like, it's still not a disaster. You'd obviously rather not play Aaron Rodgers twice a year. And if you want to sit there and say, as I've already done multiple times, kind of off the air today, joking, the Bears are now starting 0-2. It's hard to kind of argue against that. But, you know, there's still going to be plenty of matchups out there where Justin Fields probably going to be the better quarterback on the field on any given Sunday.
You hope.
Yeah.
You hope Luke Getsy develops and maximizes whatever that talent is. He believes in from Justin Fields, but you're right. You are right. And here's the thing, though. Like, 4-year, like Aaron Rodgers, like was dismissive of his own contract on Twitter, wasn't he not? Like, it's just Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers.
Right now,
what's that?
Yeah, that
That's
guy
Aaron
right now.
Rodgers.
He's kind of just like a loose cannon right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think in years past we've seen it, that they're beatable in the playoffs, even as good as Aaron Rodgers is in the regular season.
Absolutely.
49ers did it twice.
And some of that, and
right?
on some of that, a lot of that's on Rodgers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Be better.
But that doesn't matter if the Bears aren't making the playoffs. So that's
true.
the other, they got to make the playoffs. And I don't know if that's going to happen right away. But so let's talk a little bit about Green Bay now. So they're running it back. Aaron Rodgers is back. Devontae Adams, franchise tag today. And, if you're Matt Eberflus, if you're Ryan Poles, Poles was the one who came out and said, we're going to take the North and not give it back. Great shirt. You can buy it at obviousshirts.com right now, by the way. Embrace the challenge, right? Like you just got to say, hey, look, okay, we got to beat Aaron Rodgers. Got to find a way to do it. And I don't just say that in general. As coaches, you now know the matchup, right? You can turn on the tape from Lambeau Field last year and understand that when Devontae Adams moved inside to the slot and Jalen Johnson didn't follow him, the Bears had no answer. So whether that's Jalen Johnson learning how to follow receivers all over the field, or going out and grabbing a nickel corner that you need in this defense that's going to be rock solid every week, or a combination of both, you got to understand now what you have to do to be able to match up better against that pairing, because they right now, just like as good as the defense has been, and you got to fix your own offense, obviously, too, separately. But these are the conversations you have to start having at House Hall so that you can be more competitive against the Green Bay Packers this fall.
I'm interested to see how all in they go. The Packers, actually. The Packers, not the Bears.
But how all in can they even?
Yeah,
can they go?
I don't know. I know Aaron Rodgers' contract will eventually open up some cap space. That will be taken by Devontae Adams. But this goes back to the Jordan Love conversation, because let's face it, we are right, Adam. We don't have to face it. We knew it. Everyone else has to face it in Green Bay. Jordan Love sucks. The Bears would not. The Packers would not have done this if he was developing.
If he was good.
If he was good.
This would be a no-brainer decision.
If he was good. They've gone in on a soon-to-be. Is he 40 yet? Soon, like 39? How old is he?
I think he's still 39.
39.
About to be 40.
They just went all in on that, and which is fine. Transcendent quarterback, but
he's still 38.
38. Mm-hmm. So for a few more years here, 4 at most. You let Aaron Rodgers in the draft room. Let him pick his receiver. Let him have input on certain evaluations.
What do you do with Jordan Love now?
You can't trade him. It's just a waste of a pick.
Right. Is anybody out there going to be like, oh, well, let's trade for Jordan Love now because Packers can't use him? No, they're going to be like, he can't be good. I don't know. Maybe you could throw like a 6-rounder at him. But at this point, I don't know. Just keep him there as your backup, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the Packers, yes, absolutely. Yeah, continue the development, stay the course. As we've been told many times here in Chicago, quarterbacks have different paths that they develop at different rates, and eventually you got to release them.
Oh, it's all too true. All too true. Well, now we see what the Bears do. Next week is free agency week, start of the new league year. Any big trades? Who do they sign at wide receiver? Chris Godwin got franchise tagged today too. So he's not an option.
Any surprise that Allen Robinson was not even a transition tag at all for you?
No.
0.
No. And honestly, I'm not sure how much we've talked about the idea. Obviously on this podcast, we've talked about the idea of a potential return. I still don't want to completely rule it out depending on what his market ends up being. But at this point, I get the sense that actually, and this might be surprising, I actually think that he might be more open to coming back than maybe the Bears are in having him back.
The franchise tag was what, north of $18 million? The transition tag was north of $16 million. You just can't do that for the type of production he gave the Bears. No team should be thinking $18 million a year for Allen Robinson in 2022.
And by the way, he's probably still going to get paid. The more I looked at that wide receiver market, there's not a lot of time. There's not a lot of options out there. Not a lot of great options. So I don't know if he's necessarily the first receiver off the board, maybe the third or fourth. The more I look at it, I think he's going to have the opportunity to get at least a 2 or 3 year deal with some good money.
A lot up front in the first year guaranteed if they want to release him after 1.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe after 2.
So, in terms of names, the Bears, I kind of like the idea of DJ Chark, who's, certainly been productive.
It's like Allen Robinson in 2018.
Yeah. Coming off an injury.
Second round pick coming off an injury. History of production. Leaving the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, no, it's...
sorry, let me correct that. Fleeing the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But now they got Trevor Lawrence. Wasn't great as a rookie, but they're probably having similar conversations about Trevor Lawrence as we are in Justin Fields down in Jacksonville on the Jacksonville Hoge Jahns podcast.
I have one little vent about Trevor Lawrence, by the way.
You think his hair is too long?
No, his hair is fine to me.
Okay.
Why, you got a problem with his hair?
No, I thought you did.
No problem with his hair.
Okay.
If you're going to write off Justin Fields as a bust because of his numbers and production as a rookie in 2021, then you have to do the same with Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Do you not?
Yeah.
Do you not?
Yeah, but yes, but who's doing that? Is anyone actually doing that?
Oh, folks on Twitter. Anybody who wants to debate the Bears.
So Packer fans are
Packer fans.
That's pretty much it. I mean,
no, but anybody, it comes up in analysis.
But did you talk to anybody at the combine that was like, Justin Fields just isn't good?
No, but
because I haven't gotten that.
Some of the general vibe I got was he still needs work, but
that's true
to anybody. Yes,
that's true. He does, but I've sensed a much more optimistic vibe about Justin Fields than I did coming out of Mitch Trubisky's rookie season.
Yeah,
there's definitely more of a vibe in the NFL back in going into 2018 that was like, ooh, I don't know about this one. Ugh.
We did this piece on The Athletic where we had one of our league contacts describe, just went through Fields' throwing motion and how it can be a bit long. Elongated was the word we use in our story, which is true.
Yeah.
So, sometimes he tends to wind up, but that got misphrased or misquoted, what have you, on social media, just about how it's a long-term concern. I wouldn't characterize it a long-term concern. The piece did not characterize it as a long concern. The source did not characterize it as a long-term concern, but something for him to work on, especially if you want to get better at quick game.
So Olin and I talked about this yesterday, actually. And he seemed to be on the same page as me, I think. I don't have an issue with his mechanics. I don't have an issue. He doesn't have a quick release, but I also don't think he has necessarily a problematic long release. I like how the ball comes out of his hand. That was one of our very first observations with him. And I saw it back at Ohio State, but even at rookie minicamp last year, the ball pops out of his hand. So... And
I don't know if those. I would disagree with you in terms of the short game, though. The quick game.
Well, that's touch.
It's timing.
Yeah.
Which is your mechanics, which is your footwork.
No, I think it's more up here. I think he just needs to speed up the process. I think there's a difference between speeding up the process and speeding up your release. Those are two different things. And I just think he needs to get.
I think they're linked together. I do.
Well, a little bit. I don't know. You start messing with the quarterback's mechanics, bad things can start happening.
Aaron Rodgers?
How many times did Mitch Trubisky change his mechanics?
Not much, just his footwork.
Then he started doing different things because of the shoulder and.
Well, he tore his labrum.
Yeah, you don't need a labrum.
Just saying.
No, I know. I don't.
I think
whoever you guys talk to, I disagree with.
I think the general thought is that if the Bears are going to utilize quick game, that there are some things he could do to speed up that quick game, whether, yes, just processing and seeing it, but also doing things mechanically to get the ball out of his hand quicker.
Yeah, I think it's like mostly decision making, even like on those zone reads and things like that. Like it just needs the processing needs to happen faster. And I also, by the way, don't think it's a big problem. Like, I think he was playing in a very complicated system with bad pass protection in front of him and was not being put in a great position to succeed. So I think with the tools he does have, I'm not saying changes can't be made to improve it, but like if he's in an offense that allows him to be more decisive, that'll go a long way to helping him. And so that's where Luke Getsy comes in. Which, by the way, I think I said this last week too. Already heard some really good things about that. Like the first impression Getsy's made at House Hall has been very positive from what I understand. And there's a lot of optimism about what this staff will do with exactly that, putting Justin in position to succeed, building the offense around his strengths. And I can't wait. Quite frankly, I can't wait to see what it looks like because it's going to be different.
I had the same thought process heading into 2018, and we saw different things.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the wet blanket here on March 8th. I'm not being a wet blanket. I think Justin Fields is still going to be good. I'm just saying there's some obvious things that need to be worked on.
Yeah. All right. Well, they better work on it in a hurry because Aaron Rodgers is still in Green Bay. But I still think Justin Fields is going to be the better quarterback in a lot of matchups going forward.
Well, at the end of the day, you need your starting quarterback to help close that gap. Do you not? It's like why the Rams traded for Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, and like we just talked about, the Denver Broncos just traded for Russell Wilson. You have to close the gap with the other quarterbacks within the division.
Mm-hmm.
That's just where the game is gone.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky wasn't able to do it for a variety of reasons.
Well, and quite frankly, like Justin still needs to do that with Kirk Cousins. As much as we talk about, as much as I slam Kirk Cousins on his podcast, like,
see, I'm confident he could do that because Mitch Trubisky did that with Matt Nagy as his play caller.
Yeah, a little bit. But when he left here, I mean, Kirk Cousins is still the second best quarterback in the division. Well, I guess technically Stafford would have been at that time, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you get traded out. All right. Well, we'll be back Thursday with more. I mean, hopefully some more news comes in. What a crazy offseason this has already been. And we need some Bears news to start flowing in too. I don't know if that'll happen by Thursday, but certainly by next week. Free agency starting. Exciting times. Things starting to pick up here. And we will continue to have it covered right here on the Hoge Jahns podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Adam Hoge, at Adam Jahns. Read Johnsy on The Athletic. TheAthletic.com/Hoge Jahns is where you go to subscribe. You can get Kevin Fishbane, all the coverage there as well, coming out of the combine. And for me, you need to go to allchgo.com, where I have a 2-part Q&A with the head coach, Matt Eberflus. Probably should have mentioned that earlier. But you can check that out. Part 1's kind of went into more detail about like how this hits thing's actually going to work and how it's going to be implemented and graded on a daily basis. And then part 2 is more about his journey as a coach and getting to Chicago, where he's already a fan of the North Shore.
30 years in the making.
Yes. See how it goes. Check out the merch, obviousshirts.com. and the YouTube page, youtube.com. Find the Hoge Jahns channel. Hit subscribe. Hit those notification buttons. We appreciate you doing that. Appreciate all the support. Thanks to everyone for all the comments about CHGO. And it's just more coverage for you guys, and looking forward to all that to come. So, Johnsy, good stuff. Any final thoughts?
No.
No.
I thought you could hit the Aaron Rodgers go Bears.
Oh, I don't have that ready. I just have Mike.
No.
Mike Lennon. Just Mike Lennon on. Just ready and standby.
No, don't care.
See ya.
The Packers, Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, go Bears.